Welcome to the Boxing Chat Podcast, the best boxing podcast in the world. Join Frank Cazzo, Rob Jenkins, and Koopa to talk boxing today.
Music licensing reimagined.
Like and subscribe now. Welcome to the Boxing Chat Podcast, the best boxing podcast in the world. Like and subscribe now.
What is going on, boys? Welcome to the
What's
Boxing
going on,
Chat,
gentlemen?
Episode 12. Oh, my bad. My camera's off. Episode 12. Man, heavy weekend tonight. This weekend, boys. Heavy weekend. One of the probably most entertaining weekends we've had in a long time, other than that Benavidez fight, if I'm being honest. A little bit of a sleeper there. But Tank Davis, he knocks out Frank Martin. We all kind of expected it. Pretty low output punch-wise from Davis. He only threw 178, landed 79. Martin threw 270 and landed 81. So he was a little bit on the back foot. In my opinion, saw this one coming. The big one's going to be the next one, I think, when he fights Lomachenko. But let's go ahead and get started. We'll start with Koopa. Koopa, what do you think about the fight, man? What do you think about Tank Davis? You saw this one coming, or did he surprise you?
All right, so with an opponent like Frank Martin, I suspected he was going to have a lot of success in the early rounds, but I thought it was just going to be a matter of time, to be honest. I mean, Tank's pressure is just different, and Frank has never had to deal with someone like Tank. Tank does throw – he has a low output volume, but come on, man. Like, we've seen it a million times at this point. People have success against Tank. They start getting tired. Then he started landing on the pressure. I felt like it was textbook, but I felt like it was going to be entertaining for as long as it lasted. And I like how Frank, he banged with Tank a little bit. He used some great boxing ability to get his shots off. And I feel like that's what made it worth the watch compared to a lot of Tank's other opponents. It was a bit more competitive in the beginning, but he just eventually got him, man. And then, history's history now.
Yeah, and exactly what you said. And I think this was like the first time we've seen this polished of a Tank where, I mean, he just came in and those punches looked like the Hulk, man. I mean, he was swinging some overhands that were crazy. Johnny Boy, what do you think about Tank's performance, man?
I think it was predictable. I thought that we were going to see him give up the early rounds. But if you remember when Coach Calvin told him, listen, we need all these rounds now, he really emphasized that, we're down on the scorecards. And then as soon as he said that, Tank just stepped into high gear. And then he started hunting and chasing him down, cutting off the ring. And then the only mistake that Frank made was just trying to play rope-a-dope and waiting for the shot to try to catch it instead of tangling him up and frustrating him like Shakur would do if they face each other. Mm-hmm. And then I just think that, Tank is a brilliant fighter. I think he has phenomenal speed. And if he would let his hands go, he could finish these fights in 3-4 rounds. But it's just,
Frank,
and he
Frank,
said
that what you said when you called me, Frank, 4 rounds.
Yeah, and he said that that he was trying to get Frank tired. I don't know how tired Frank really got because I think it would have been, like you said, the same thing even in the beginning rounds if Tank would have just turned it on. Because Frank was in that corner scared, man. I mean, he was flinching, scared of Tank throwing the punches before Tank even threw it. But Justin, what do you think? Hold on.
Wait, but when he said tire him out, I don't think he necessarily means like gas him. I just think he means drain his energy from where he started at. Because like the way all Tank's fight looks, it makes you like question it in the beginning just because he's not throwing a lot and he's not as aggressive. And Frank did a better job than most do, kind of make it difficult on Tank. I feel like Tank was looking to counter and Frank would kind of like throw in between and kind of like try and mess up the timing and stuff. But once Tank actually started to rush him and like be aggressive, you saw that he was gonna knock him out eventually.
Yeah, and I think since the beginning, I mean, I don't know how long it took for Frank to already be in the corner. What was it, like 20 seconds in the first round for him to already back up and be in the corner that quick? Mm-hmm. I mean, you could see it from there that he was going to get knocked out.
He
Keizo.
was also trying to counter him, which isn't a good idea. Like going like back and forth with Tank with that, but you could see Frank was also looking to like counter at certain points.
Yeah. And Keizo, what do you think? Was this more about how good Tank is or how bad Frank was?
Neither. I feel like it's a typical Tank fight. We saw that. The live reaction from me really speaks volume because Frank could have like if Frank would have kept boxing the way he was in the first, if he would have fought Tank more in the circle instead of just like moving and fighting on the edges and in the corners, like Frank really could have pulled out a UD or a SD boxing like that. But like most people say that like that's not the brand of boxing we don't want to see with the Tio and the Jermaine Ortiz fights. Like fighting, jabbing. Like I don't want to say like an Ali way, but more such like an Ali way of fighting. That's people say y'all are entertainers, which I really don't fucking get. Like we in there trying to kill each other, not fucking entertain you guys. Like it's a blood sport, not necessarily entertainment for you niggas. But like, yeah, it's just typical Tank fight, really. Live reaction, I was saying, is just like Hector Garcia because it really was to me. We saw Hector Garcia win like the first 3 to 4 rounds, and then Tank just turned it on.
Yeah. Similar result. Similar result. Oh, and I forgot to put this up. My bad. But there we go. At the bottom of the screen so they can read what we're on. So yeah, Gervonta Davis. I think it was definitely more about Tank being good, man. In my opinion, than Frank being bad. I don't think Frank did bad. He was just never like once Tank turns it on. I think he can do that against anyone, man. Even I gotta say against Shakur. But let's ask Blueprint. Blueprint, do you think after that performance
Roy.
he has or Roy after that performance, do you think he has a good shot against Shakur?
Yeah, I think so, man. I think Tank is man, it's just an A+ fighter versus an A+ fighter. So I mean, Tank got the fucking power, so he could catch Shakur, man, if he makes a mistake. And I mean, Shakur rarely makes mistakes, but how many fighters has he fought on Tank's level? So that's the question we're really asking. Shit, dude.
Yeah, but who has Tank
That's just
fought
a
on
fight that I
Shakur's
really want to
level?
see.
Who has
Hey, he
Tank
said
fought
it
on
both
Shakur's
ways,
level?
but
That is the same thing, man. But
yeah, vice versa.
fuck, I don't really know, bro. That's a fight that I mean I like to argue with people and shit, but that's a fight that it's a really 50-50 fight, man. You can't really say who's gonna fucking beat up who, man.
Yeah, the only thing I think about that
That's gonna be a
fight.
sweet science fight, man.
Yeah, and the only thing I think about that fight is I think Tank can do like at least 70% of what Shakur's good at. Shakur, like Tank's best thing is power. Shakur's not getting close to that power. You know what I mean? Tank is kind of good at being an outside fighter. He's pretty good at being an outside fighter. He showed it against Pitbull Cruz. Um, I'm trying to think of another instance. Normally, he just knocks him out, but yeah, he showed that he was a good outside fighter against Pitbull Cruz. So he's not there where Shakur's at the outside, but he can kind of go with him. But on the inside, Shakur can't touch what Tank is doing on the inside. Inside fighting, he can't, Keizo. I see your face. He
He
can't.
can.
But
You not see? Did you not see what the
bro,
fuck
he
did to
cannot
Joet
fight on the
Gonzalez?
inside. He cannot
Did
fight
you
on the
not see
inside
what
like
the fuck he
Gervonta
did to
Davis.
Joet Gonzalez or
Bro,
Hey,
who is
Yoshino?
Joet Gonzalez?
hey, look, we all know how Tank fight, right? We all know how Tank fight. We all know how great Shakur is. Shakur got the most potential out of anybody in boxing right now, in my opinion. My personal opinion. That's how I feel. Like potential wise, Shakur has the most potential out of everybody. But we all know, yes, Shakur is fast. Yes, Shakur has high IQ. But can he keep Tank off of him? Because
Exactly.
just like Tank did Frank Martin, bro. Frank, what I told you, I said, it's scary when Frank applied pressure. Tank applied pressure to Frank Martin without even throwing punches. He was just walking him down, and that was just
Yeah.
straight pressure right there. Just walking him straight,
It was
just
just cutting
walking
off
him
the
down. Not
ring.
even throwing punches. Just wherever you go, okay, I'm cutting off the ring. I'm coming back. I'm cutting off the ring. Not even throwing punches, and you could still kind of see the fear in Frank's eyes. And then Frank, the first few rounds, the first 4 rounds that Frank won, Even if Tank only landed 2 or 3 shots, some 2 or 3 shots with some counters to the body, and was making Frank think about it. Think about life. This is what I signed up for.
And he was flinching too. He was
We both
flinching.
we both agreed Frank can't take a body shot. We both agreed that on the podcast.
Yeah,
And you
we
think
know that.
as good of a combination puncher Shakur Stevenson is, you
Bro,
think he's gonna let Tank
I'm
walk
not
him down?
taking nothing away from Shakur, and I just said Shakur has the most potential, but we know Tank could take shots because Tank, in my opinion, in the first 4 rounds, Tank gonna let you hit him with whatever you can hit him with, because he gonna make sure. Oh, I don't feel none of these. It's good. I'm about to walk you down the rest of the fight. Can Shakur do something to keep Tank back?
So let's leave Shakur and Tank for the end of the pod. We got a little game we're gonna play then. So we'll talk about them then. But here, Johnny Boy Boxing.
Yeah.
Vasily Lomachenko is coming off a great victory against Kambosos, where he completely, embarrassed him. Completely embarrassed Kambosos like no one else has really embarrassed him before. I think that was the best performance that Kambosos has gone against. I don't think Haney fought better than him. So Lomachenko coming off that performance, maybe the best performance of his career too, how dominant he was in that. And now Gervonta Davis is coming off another knockout. How do you see that fight? Do you think Loma still has it in him to, fight on the outside, get away, go in and out on Tank? Or do you see Tank getting the knockout?
I think Lomachenko is a brilliant tactician. I think he'll get the early rounds, like maybe 3 or 4, and he's a slow starter as well. So that's going to be against him, going into the fight. But Lomachenko, Father Time is undefeated. He's going to be 36. What is he? 36? Going to be hitting 37. I think he's on his way out the door. And I think if that fight would have happened 4 years ago, I think he beats Tank. Because Tank will give up those rounds, and then he'll just use those angles like Pacquiao and land those punches and be up on CompuBox. But just at this age, I don't even see him. Even though he was brilliant against Kambosos, I don't see him beating Tank. Not right now. Tank is in his prime right now. What is he? 28, 29, or something like that.
Yeah.
So we're 27 to 33 in my opinion. That's your prime years, and I just think that he's going to be too strong for him. And it's just Omenchenko right now. It's not. He's not the same Lomachenko. He has a lot of mileage on him, To the amateurs from the 300 fight, then his pro career. Even though he doesn't have that many fights, but he's not the same guy. You lose a step,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't think. He is a slow starter, but against Kambosos, he didn't start slow. That's for sure.
Yeah, he picked it up. Yeah, that's true.
So
That's
maybe
true.
he's proven.
He'd have to stick up.
Yeah,
he'd have to prove that against Tank.
I feel like he learned his lesson against Tio. He started slow against Tio, but I also feel like I think he asked me, but I also feel like
Tank started slow against Haney afterwards, though.
Tank versus Loma is a lose-lose for Tank. If you lose,
how is it a lose-lose for Tank?
Because if he beat him, they're gonna say Loma was too old. Come on, bro. We know how the boxing fans work.
Yeah, they are going to say that.
Came off of a dominant performance. He didn't look old against Kambosos. Like if he would have looked old and sluggish, and Kambosos was getting hits off on him, I'd say okay, cool. Like you're right, but he still looks young and spry enough. I don't think it's going to be
all right.
He ain't look good.
Benavidez. I don't think he's going to be beating up a senior citizen.
Right now. I'm going to give you an example. I got a question for you. I got a question for you, Coop. I'm about to give you an example, Coop. I got a question for you. Bud versus Pacquiao. If Bud wins, what happens?
All right, so hold up, because if he would have fought Pacquiao after he fought Keith Thurman, I would have been like, okay, cool. I would have never been like, well, Father Time's undefeated. Now, it's gonna be that's what it's gonna be. I'm like, okay, well, Pacquiao's old now, but I still think that Bud
36.
He's
talking about after Pacquiao fought Jeff Horn. If he would have beat Jeff Horn,
what Pacquiao just did not just did, but what was his last fight? Keith Thurman, right?
Okay.
No, he lost against the guy after Thurman. What's his name? The guy that Spence beat.
Jeff Horn.
Ugas.
Jeff
Ugas, right?
Ugas.
Yeah. You're right.
He lost to Ugas, bro. But anybody else? Loma versus Tank. Anybody here thinks Loma beats Tank?
I don't think Loma beats Tank. I just feel like
Cricket.
same thing Johnny Boxing said, bro. To be honest, And I feel like we all
it's
feel the
past
same
that
way.
time, bro.
Yeah,
4 years ago.
because that's not a fight. If I'm Loma, that's not a fight I'm taking. If I'm Loma, I'm going to fight the other Ukrainian. That's the fight I'm taking. And then after that, I'm riding off in the sunset. I ain't fighting no more.
I agree with that.
Here's another quick question.
I'm not fighting Shakur, and I'm not fighting Tank.
Nope.
I'm fighting other Ukrainians.
I agree. He needs to walk over to the sunset, like you said.
So I think one of them will fight one Ukrainian, and Shakur will fight the other one, and then they'll meet up to unify the undisputed. But anybody, what's a harder fight for a Tank, Haney or Loma?
Loma.
Shakur.
Loma, Haney's damaged goods. He took a beating. He's not going to be the same fighter, in my opinion. And I was one of my. He had the best jab in boxing. He was one of my favorite fighters. But I think his dad should have stopped it. Bill should have stopped that fight to preserve him. The way Ryan got knocked out and quit, and then he was preserved, and he hasn't taken a beating over those several rounds.
Exactly.
It's different when you get a flash knockdown. You're out of there. You go home. It's fine. But when you take that sustained damage to the body, all those rounds, you're not going to be the same fighter. He left a piece of his soul in that ring.
Exactly. I don't care how many rounds it don't matter how many rounds Haney was winning in between. You taking a beating. You taking a beating.
Devin just didn't look good under that pressure, bro. And then imagine if Tank's the one like actually coming at him instead.
And then the same thing happened with Ryan, which is what I used to always say would have happened if Haney fought Tank. Haney ain't got nothing to keep a power puncher off of him.
Except for his octopus, except for his octopus clinching. He knows how to clinch and hold you.
Go ahead and say it, Keizo.
I feel like he also wasn't active.
Go ahead and say it,
like,
Keizo.
I also feel like he wasn't trying to keep Ryan out of his face. Like I feel like he could have been smarter about the way he approached the fight. But I mean,
nah, he was trying to. But that's what happens when you finally face him. What Johnny Boxing just said. That's what I used to always feel. What I told you, Frank. Haney had one of the best jabs in boxing to me. That's how I felt. But then he fought somebody with a reach just as long as him, and that jab
killed the way
that I thought was one of the best in boxing.
I still feel like he didn't display it as well as he could have, and he could have used the ring more. I feel like he was trying to entertain people, but that's a different.
But all right, let's move on from Ryan and Haney. Let's move on from Ryan and Haney. I'm gonna go around the room one by one from top to bottom. Tell me the person who has the best chance to beat Tank under 140 pounds. Jenkins.
Didn't he come to me first? I mean, the only right answer is Shakur, but I feel like he also wouldn't be able to handle the strength and power, and eventually it would just be too much.
What about you, Keizo? You already know.
Shakur Stevenson, Shakur Stevenson.
You don't think Tio or Haney or
no? You said under 100.
Even a Matias.
You said under
or a Pitbull Cruz in a rematch. Johnny Boy.
135.
I said under 140. Under 140.
I'm going with Shakur Stevenson. Huh?
I don't know if you know, but Pitbull is Franklin's favorite fighter in this whole world, so he gonna always throw Pitbull.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I know you don't know it, but yeah, he gonna always throw that in.
No, I like he's a fan-friendly fighter. I just he got to work on that defense. The Mexican fighters, they come head first. They're great fighters, but just I believe he has a great chin too. He's durable, so he won't get knocked out. But you got to work on that defense, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's a great fighter, not a great boxer.
Yeah, absolutely.
No. But what do you think? Do you think Shakur too?
Yeah, I think Shakur is just the levels above everyone else. And you got to remember that Shakur, statistically wise, he only gets hit 4 punches a round. Floyd Mayweather at the same time in his career was getting hit 6 punches a round. So right now, defensively, Shakur is the best defensive fighter in boxing, better than Floyd Mayweather. That says a lot. He's not going to get hit, and he loves to clinch, and he loves to hold on the inside. He likes to give hold your face, blind you, and hit you with those body shots. I think Tank will get frustrated, and that's why Shakur will win that fight, in my opinion.
Hey, before I move on to Blueprint, one more question for you, Johnny, since you've been around the sport for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Who do you think at this age, Tank is 29 years old? Compare Tank at 29 to Floyd at 29, popularity-wise, box attraction-wise. Who do you think is bigger?
I think Tank is more popular. Why? Remember, Floyd is the villain. He was only popular after he took the torch from Oscar De La Hoya. He was getting up there, but he wasn't getting those big paydays. He got $10 million for Oscar De La Hoya. After that, he went into the stratosphere. If you remember, that was the first time HBO ever had that 24/7. That was the first time that there was never a build up to the fight, to these pay-per-view events, and that just sent him into the stratosphere. And then he just started every fight after that was just Floyd Mayweather. He played the villain role so well. Tank, you can still love him. He gets in trouble outside of the ring, gets arrested, domestic violence, all these other things, hit and runs, but he's still a nice guy on the inside. He's not saying I'm the best and I have all the money, and people get turned off. Working people that have to break their butt to go to work and make a paycheck, they get offended by that. I can look at F. Floyd and separate his personality from his skill and say, wow, this guy is amazing, one of the greatest fighters that ever lived, and I can say he's a jerk too. But that has nothing to do with boxing. He's just one of the greatest fighters who ever lived, in my opinion.
Yeah,
that's a great point. And 24/7 were fucking goated.
Yeah.
Hey, and after that 24/7, that's when he signed that crazy deal with Showtime.
Yeah.
After that,
he left HBO.
It was like 60 million, 70 million for 4 fights or something like that.
Yeah, it was insane. And then he just the money.
And then I think it's Cooper or Blueprint. One of y'all always said that when people say they're trying to do the Floyd Blueprint, they're not doing it the right way. Floyd got his money off of pay-per-view back end. He had the deal, but he got his money off the pay-per-view back end. But then also we all know due to streaming these days, pay-per-view will never be the same.
Yeah, bro,
Yeah,
but
Yeah,
Floyd got his money off of pay-per-view back end, but like Floyd whooped ass, bro. You have to whoop ass in this sport. And I feel like a lot of people are kind of weird on how Floyd came to be. Like, bro, Floyd wasn't just a fighter who was afraid to fight. Like I've seen Floyd fights a lot, bro. He bounces around the ring, he uses the shoulder roll and all that shit, but he still bangs with these guys. That's why, Floyd played the villain, yes, but he played the villain towards other people's fan bases. Floyd still had fans who enjoy paying the money and paying the pay-per-view to watch him fight.
That's a fact.
And when the fight
I paid
September. He fought in September, and he fought Cinco de Mayo weekend. August, September, and Cinco de Mayo weekend. Floyd knew when to fight.
All right, let me get back to my questions though. Blueprint.
Yeah, get back to Blueprint.
Who's the guy that can beat Tank, man, or that has the best chance to beat Tank?
The obvious choice is Shakur, man, but I used to think it would be Teo until the way he fought Sandor Martin and Jermaine Ortiz. But if we're being honest, Jermaine Ortiz is a tough fight for anybody, man. It's a tough fight for anybody. But at that time too, Teo was overlooking him and talking about a Crawford fight, and I forgot who else, man. You can't really overlook your opponent that you got lined up right in front of you.
What about
the obvious choice is Shakur.
Shakur? Yeah, and I think I thought the same thing with Teo, but that performance against the guy you just said, where he kind of went on the offensive and the other guy was playing on the back foot the whole time, kind of fighting like Shakur. What's his name? The guy you just said? Teal's last fight?
Jermaine?
Yeah, Jermaine Ortiz.
Jermaine
Ortiz on the back foot.
Tough fight.
Yeah.
Hey,
And I think he fought against was it Loma?
Yeah, he
Before
fought
that?
against Loma and did pretty good against him, man.
Yeah. And he fought pretty good against
Loma.
Loma.
Win too. Shit.
Hey,
So Koopa, do you think it's Shakur too, Koopa?
Listen, I didn't want to see Shakur fight Tank because of Edwin De Los Santos.
Don't say
I
Haney.
get it. Shakur
That was a
is
hand
the
injury. That was a hand injury.
Thank you,
Bro,
boy. Everybody likes to ignore that shit, bro.
Floyd had a hand injury against Castillo, and then in the rematch, you see that there was no hand injury, and he dominated Castillo. That's the reason why Tank had an injury with your boy Pitbull Cruz, and then he needs to get that rematch back.
Hey, that's how people are nowadays.
Don't let Franklin hear you
but
talk
even
about
before he had
people
a
like
hand
that.
injury. No. It's my turn to
I
answer
don't
this
want to see
question.
that
Hold up.
rematch for another 2
Go ahead,
years.
Coop.
Hold up. Listen, Shakur is an obvious example. He's obvious choice. It's just that from a consumer standpoint, as far as my time and my money, I know Shakur can bang. I know Shakur can dog it out. Shakur isn't afraid to get hit, but when he got hit by Edwin De Los Santos, I didn't like how he reacted. Now, to Keizo's point a few podcasts ago, where he said, win how you want to win, I agree. But that kind of made me fall asleep after he got hit and he didn't. It was like a reluctancy to engage, and I don't want to see him do that against Tank.
But do you not consider his other hand being messed up? Like that is a whole.
Bro,
I
saw that man fight, and I'm just like Tank. You could tell by punch stats that obviously his hand was messed up. Shakur, I'm like, no, it wasn't. The punch stats weren't wildly different, so I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, broken hand. Like, no, like a broken hand doesn't make you. Tank was willing to bang with Cruz a little bit, even though his hand was messed up. Like, I'm fine with that. But Shakur seemed like he just did not want to get touched. Like, that does not have to do with your hand being broken, bro. Like, no.
Well, Shakur's safety first, so that's his style.
I get it, but it's like if Tank is supposed to be a big puncher and Edwin De Los Santos is supposed to have pop, and that's Shakur's reaction, I don't want to see him fight Tank. Like, I don't.
Cooper.
I don't think that's going to be
Shut
his
up.
reaction.
When did Edwin De Los Santos catch Shakur?
Bro.
In what round? In what round? Dog, go watch it. In what round?
In the beginning of the watch the fight.
No,
in the beginning of the fight.
He never caught him.
All right. Let's move on before the Keizo and Cooper get into a battle.
What are you talking about?
Frank. Robert, go ahead.
Even with a broken hand, he made this man break a record.
I think,
for the league.
Bro, get out of here. Like, bro, reluctancy to engage because a guy popped you a little bit is not some shit I want to see. Like,
didn't we just talk about this, bro? They're not entertainers. It's a blood sport.
Bro, then all right, then don't fight in the ring. Don't charge tickets. Don't charge pay-per-view.
They have no duty to you at all to entertain you, though. That's what y'all don't get.
Hey, y'all gotta forgive.
So this is pride fighter,
Me
bro.
as an amateur boxer, if somebody in the crowd telling me to engage, I have no duty to engage. Cause nigga, you not in here getting your head torn off. I am.
I agree. Shakur needs to go in there and get his head torn off. All I'm gonna say is
boxers first.
And that's what Floyd preached. That's what Floyd preached.
They are boxers first and entertainers last, if anything, bro.
Bro, you can't blame me for not wanting to spend my hard-earned money and my time to watch him do that shit against De Los.
But we've had this conversation before. I told you wouldn't want to watch that fight because nobody's gonna get knocked out. But
all right, bro, we gotta move on.
It's gonna be the best. Hold on. Let me finish. It's gonna be the best display of the sweet science of boxing in this century, my nigga.
That's great, and I'm gonna catch it on the highlights. I'm not about to pay my money to go see it, bro. Like, no.
Catch it on Twitter.
If anybody will, you will, Cooper.
Catch it on Twitter.
Cooper, that's your choice. That's your choice, but this is just the fan thinking they're more important than the whole fucking boxer and the whole thing that goes on. In every sport nowadays, the fan just thinks they're the most important thing. They got everything to say, but they're not actually in there doing it. So,
all right, Robert, let's hit Robert's answer so we can move on. Robert.
Who can beat him?
Yeah, who has the best chance?
But the best chance is two people. The
I
first
know one of them. Nobody said him. Nobody said him yet.
The first one, I'm gonna say Tio, but it's only Tio if he coming off a bad fight because he fight bad and great. Tio is up and down fighter. Tio's last fight was terrible, so his next fight is going to be great.
Got a point.
And the other person is obviously Shakur, because Shakur is the only boxer who could fight a perfect fight for 12 rounds. He could fight a perfect fight for 12 rounds.
Good answer.
He can do what he need to do for them 12.
In my opinion, I'm going to say somebody that nobody said. Naoya Inoue has a chance if he comes up and wins.
Shut up.
No way. No way. No,
that's
no. Keizo.
Frank, man. No, man.
Shut up.
Bro. In 5 to 6 years. In 5 to 6 years.
Inoue.
Oh, you talking in the future? In the future.
Shut
Yeah,
up,
in
bro.
5
Like,
to 6
nigga, you
years.
just figured out who Shushu
Listen,
was, and
fine.
you pushing Shushu versus Inoue, and this nigga still fighting for NAB.
Bro, I did not push for Shushu
Yes, you
against
did.
Inoue.
Hey, Kenzo,
He
we were
wasn't in the
there.
group
We were
chat talk.
there.
Yes, exactly.
What we
This nigga
said,
a
bro.
liar.
Bro, all I said was
Cooper, he
all I
wasn't in the
said
group
is
chat
He didn't
pushing
even
that
want to
Might not
talk
be
narrative.
about
able
the
to make
fight.
weight by then.
Cooper, he wasn't in the group chat pushing that narrative. They don't even fight at the same weight. The nigga talking about Shushu would low key give Inoue his toughest
bro,
fight. Like, nigga, shut
Inoue is
up.
going
How is
Hey,
it,
hey,
brother?
Inoue is
bro,
going up
bro
to
said no on the
126.
Shut
Shushu
up.
fight. He didn't
Bro,
even let us
Keizo knows
recap it.
nothing
Bro just
about
went straight
boxing,
through
bro.
that.
Shut up. They don't even fight at the same weight class. And this
Well,
motherfucker
listen,
still
listen.
fighting 10 rounders.
Inoue is moving up to
I was at the
126.
Shushu fight. You heard? I was at the Shushu fight, and Inoue was there. He showed up just to see
Yep.
Shushu, and then he
Just
left
to
right
see it.
after
He
Shushu
left.
fought.
Mm-hmm.
He left right after. So I got the picture with him, and I was trying to talk to him. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know any English, but he was there looking for Shushu. So he's willing to go up to 126. I heard that was the rumor everybody was talking about at the fight.
Bro, okay, but I want
I
to
think
see
he will.
Shushu versus Figgy after Figgy fight
Bro,
Ray Vargas.
Yeah,
That's the fight I want
absolutely.
to see. That's the
Yeah,
fight I want to
absolutely.
see.
I just want to
Definitely.
see
He has to get
Shushu
it
go
on.
12.
He needs
I just
some
want to
time
see Shushu go
before he
12.
steps in the ring.
Yeah,
Bro,
I
when
want to see him go
Inoue
12 with Figgy because Figgy gonna
bro,
knock his ass out.
when Inoue fights Shushu next year, I'm gonna be laughing in your face, Keizo. But all
Hey,
right.
hey,
At what
Frank,
weight?
Let's
At what weight?
real
130?
quick, real
130?
quick. Not to cut everybody off. Everybody look at Cooper. You think that's how he was looking when Devin Haney got dropped?
Koopa's a big Devin Haney fan, Johnny.
brought
That's
up
why.
I love
Enjoy
Haney.
him.
I still like Haney.
My
The
reaction
dream
was
goes
pretty much the
on.
same way when Frank had got caught by Tank. It was the same reaction.
Nigga,
I
we
felt
didn't
like
even see your
it was
reaction.
worth the money because of the drama that ensued afterwards. I got boxers that I'm a fan of, but overall, I like watching boxing. Like,
Yeah.
Haney, bro, ain't nothing
All
wrong
right,
with
well
Haney.
let's move on to David
Goddamn, we
Benavidez
gonna
versus
talk to
Alexander
him.
it's
Gvozdyk.
Gvozdyk,
I'm
bro. The G
sorry.
silent.
Is it Gvozdyk? All right, well, basically,
Gvozdyk, bro.
David Benavidez went at him the whole fight, chased him the full fight, landed big punches while Gvozdyk was on the back foot. Is that how you say it?
It's Gvozdyk, bro.
Anyway,
The G silent.
Gvozdyk. Okay. So overall, actually, Gvozdyk threw more punches with David. He was on the back foot throwing the jab, but David was landing the big shots. David did say he had a torn ligament, I believe, in his left hand after the fight. That's why he couldn't knock him out, according to him. But
We couldn't tell.
I was expecting a knockout, but like I said before the fight, he didn't knock out Caleb Plant. So I saw that maybe he couldn't knock this guy out at 175 pounds, going up 7 or 8 pounds, trying to knock out a bigger guy. We saw that he couldn't. So maybe this shows us that he's not going to get a knockout if he fights Bivol or Beterbiev. What did you guys think of his performance? Was it impressive or was it kind of mediocre? Johnny boy.
I think it was mediocre, but he just moved up to 175, so he had to get his feet wet, in that division. I like the way he performs better at 168, but he can't get the fight with Canelo. So what can you do? You're forced to go up to fight Bivol, and I believe that Bivol beats him. And better Beav, I think he'll probably get knocked out by him because he got so much balls that he's gonna stay there and trade with better Beav. So I don't like him at that weight, but I don't know.
And he's a big guy. I think there are, stories about him sparring Bivol, and David said he dominated the sparring, but that's all on his side, right? It's not from Bivol's camp.
Well, I didn't know that, so maybe I have to retract what I said. I didn't know that.
I mean, he's a big guy who's come down and gone up in weight all his career. I mean, his whole life since he was young, even sparring with Golovkin and other great fighters throughout his.
But he's not too disciplined though. I heard with the alcohol and the drugs. So that's one thing that concerns me as well. That'll catch up to you, as you get older.
Yeah,
Johnny boy, even
sure.
based off of Bivol's last fight, you still feel that way?
Well, I like the way Bivol, but I'm such a fan because what he did to Canelo. Because I like boxers. I don't like waiting and hoping for one punch knockout. So I like his style. But what was the last fight that Bivol had?
Against Zinad in the 5v5.
Oh, yeah, recently just now. Yeah, he was okay. I only saw the highlights. I didn't even see the whole fight.
He knocked him out. So
Oh, okay. But and he doesn't even have that power, right? He doesn't even have power to be. So he looked
no,
impressive.
I agree with you that his style is unique. I mean, he's like a Mexican fighter mixed with Russian, man. That's what his
I
style
like the
looks like, kind
bouncing.
of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
it's pretty dope. But Koopa, what do you think, man? Is he beating these two guys? Is
All
he
right, bro.
beating
Look,
Better Bev? Is he beating Bevo?
I don't know, but I still want to see Benavidez in the ring. Yeah, I get it. He didn't knock him out, but I enjoy Benavidez. He
Watch him
throws
fight like that.
combinations often. He throws them a lot, so it's just really nice to see from a entertainment perspective. Like you never know, he might catch Better Bev with one of them boys, but I don't think he has concussive power. But like he active, man. He active. He might give him a hard time. Bevo. I mean, like, or Bevo and Baturvia. I want the fights to be made and I want to see it play out. So that's really all I care about. I enjoyed the performance because it gave me something to watch for 12 rounds. Yeah, he didn't get him out of there. I think a lot of people are making fun of him for not getting him out of there because he wants Canelo. But I'm like, I think it was a performance that would invite Canelo to possibly try to make a fight with him later. But I want to see him in there with Bivol and Baturviev a lot sooner than later.
Okay, so if you were him, you'd stay up. You'd stay up at 175, or you'd go down. And
I would
get
say
one
wherever
shot.
the best opportunity is. I mean, if Canelo wants to fight him at 168, sure, but that's the only reason why he should go down to 168. I don't think.
Nah,
I think he should stay at
I'm
175 and like fight
if
someone
I'm
else.
him, I'm fighting Canelo at a catch weight. Canelo, you got to come up to me if you want to fight me now. At this point, Canelo, you gonna make your money, but I'm
He
not
can
about
only
to.
do that if he gets the belts.
You're right. You're right. But then also, people get mad at Benavidez fight talking about he ain't got no power, right? But to me, honestly, bro, I like what I seen. 12 rounds, pressure, them combos. Keizo, what I was saying during the fight. What I say, bro, it looked like he throwing some Roy Jones type punches and stuff. And what'd you say? He in camp with Roy Jones. I didn't even know that. I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention at the time. But people can't say that his power don't translate because he couldn't knock out somebody at 175. So he can't knock out Canelo. Did Bivol knock out Canelo to beat him? Or am I missing something?
No.
You know what I'm saying? He throws his punches. He throws his punches, and not to mention he had a cut, and he was still boxing with the cut. Mm-hmm. And like Cooper say, bro,
that shit impressed me, man. That was crazy.
I like the fight. I was impressed. He just moving up, bro. I don't expect people to move up and get a 3-round knockout. And then you say he don't knock out Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant got the biggest ring in boxing history, so he could run around it.
Bro, like,
let's not forget how big that ring was. Go watch the fight again and just look at the ring.
Yeah, I remember. And the ref was on his side. We talked about it last time.
The ring was the size of a hotel conference room, bro.
So, Blueprint.
I think it just says more about Gvozdyk's spin than Benavidez's power because he was catching crazy combos and he stayed in there all 12 rounds. So, I mean, it's nothing against Benavidez. Everybody's looking for the knockout. It's so important to everybody. But, like, at the end of the day, if you win the fight, you win the fight. Knocking somebody out only matters so much to me. So, you know, I think...
So
all right.
Go ahead, Johnny.
No, so Bevo, and that's how I said Bevo or Benavidez. Who you think will take that?
Based off of Bevo's last fight, I feel like Benavidez will probably take it, honestly. And I love Bevo's style. Like I love his jab. I love like his defense. I think he fights like very, very smart. But just based off the last fight, I don't know how much that'll like help him.
Plus, bro, Canelo gets cornered. Canelo gets cornered and starts taking shots like this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Benavidez puts his arms up too, but he's not stepping back, man. He's going to be moving forward the whole time against Bivol. We're going to see Bivol be on the back foot for one of the first times we've seen him fight completely off the back foot.
Bivol, Benavidez, I think it's one of those we got to see what Bivol do against somebody who's just going to be in his face. You know, Bivol, of course, Bivol going to win the first 4 or 5 rounds. But once you know Benavidez settle in, Bivol, what you gonna like? Yes, we know you're a fundamental fighter. You know you're a tactician, but what you gonna do? Like once he really start coming, we really gonna see what his boxing skill is and what his IQ level is.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mhm.
Blueprint,
I think it's one of those
what
things.
Blueprint? What do you think?
You know that man name now.
Y'all must have forgot.
What,
Roy
what
Jones.
was it?
Roy. My bad.
Yeah, it was Roy. It was Roy.
I was
Hey,
impressed with David Benavidez, man. He was his defense looked really good. Combinations were great. I mean, he was picking them apart. It's just them dudes from Ukraine, yeah, man. They're tough son of a
Yeah,
bitch.
different. Yeah. Yeah. Put up.
He did have a cut on his left eye. I didn't notice it until about maybe like the 6th round when they did a close up, and I was like, holy shit, does he have a cut? And me and some of the people I was watching it with, we're talking, man. He has more balls than Fury, because Fury had a gash over his eye and he had to postpone their fight with Usyk.
Mhm.
And maybe the cuts were a little bit different and maybe bigger or smaller, but he did great, man. He didn't knock him out. I was expecting a knockout, but I think the media overhyped and Mike Tyson overhyped David Benavidez as being like the big Mexican monster and knocking people out, this and that, when he's more of a volume puncher than a power puncher. And don't get me wrong, he has power. It's just, it's not one punch knockout power. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's true.
Laying on you, pushing you back. It takes a toll after a few rounds.
But that's what I like, bro.
He one of those. This how
me
I
too.
explain Benavidez. This how I explain Benavidez. Besides the Bud fight, Benavidez is like a Errol Spence times 10. The way he break down your body, you know what I'm saying. The way he come in, he's just gonna break you down, and he's just gonna sit in there and throw and slug. And then, like you said about the Ukrainians, bro. The Ukrainians nowadays, they are like the old school Mexican fighters. They not going down for nothing. You got to damn near body slam them to put them down on the mat. They're not going down.
So Keizo, what do you think about Benavidez, man? Do you think he should stay up or go down?
I mean, it really doesn't matter what he does, bro. He's #1 mandatory at 2 different weight classes in the WBC. I try to
He's just stuck right now, to be honest.
As of right now, he's only getting better. And sorry, I gotta say this, but Canelo's only getting worse. So I think David Benavidez will beat the fuck out of Canelo after what I just saw. Like, I'm not really looking for the knockout because, once again, the only guy to knock Gvozdyk out is the only champ in boxing with 100% KO ratio. So I'm not really overhyping a knockout.
Better be.
It's a UD over, like, what the fuck is Gvozdyk, a 2-time Olympian and a fucking 2-time bronze medalist? Like, I'm not really overhyping anything, but I really don't want to see him fight Bivol and Beterbiev as of right now. I'd rather see him fight Willie Hutchinson from Queensberry and then, like, see how he feels at the weight and then go after them. But I'm not really too much.
And he might have time.
Fight.
He might have time to do that because it's a while for Beterbiev and Bivol to fight, and then they might even want a rematch clause. We don't know. But let me go. Hold on. Let me go around the room. Robert, you talk every 5 seconds. Nah, I'm joking.
Around the camera.
Let me go.
Hey, Benavidez.
So we can move on. Because we're already at 40 minutes, and we gotta talk about Matias and then the 5v5. I mean the game at the end. So let me go around the room. I'm gonna start with Justin again. Who wins and why? Canelo versus Benavidez. Justin.
Just based off the point that Keizo made already, Canelo's just getting older and Benavidez is looking really, really good. And, just the power, just how he's going to be in his face the whole time. And Canelo's defense, like, I love Canelo, he's good at defense, but sometimes he just feels like he could just dodge everything. And it's like, you can't be doing that shit against somebody who's going to, like, really be throwing them heaters, bro. So I feel like Benavidez will probably take it.
Yeah, and I think the only thing I don't like about Benavidez is the head movement, man. No head movement, and Canelo does have head movement. So if Canelo's on point, he can counter. The only thing is if we're gonna see that Canelo that thinks he can take 1,000,000 punches. If we see that Canelo, then we're not gonna. I don't think we're gonna see Benavidez losing. But Keizo, what do you think? I know you just told us, but
Bro, I
tell us
seen a
why. What do you see
Benavidez with a
happening in the
Philly
fight?
shell. I seen a Benavidez with a Philly shell and Roy Jones types hook. Like, I think Benavidez might honestly. I think
Knock him out.
UD, but it depends because if you try to fight DB how he just fought Jaime, he's gonna get knocked out, bro. But yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
agree.
think DB by UD.
I agree. What about you, Johnny boy?
I think Benavidez could take it, but he has to box and use that range and that distance, use that jab. But he gets so he wants to show you that he's more man and get in there and go toe to toe, and that'll be the mistake because that'll give Canelo an opportunity to knock him out, and he doesn't have to do that. He can just pop points and make sure he wants to make a cement and let everybody know. Listen, this guy ducked me for all these years, and now I want to make an exclamation and I knocked out the great Canelo Alvarez, and that's a mistake. Just box, simply box, and yeah, I think you can win a points decision. Canelo only averages like 14 punches a round, and Benavidez is averaging 50 to 55 punches. Just on CompuBox, just from those stats, he could easily coast to a unanimous decision. But it depends what David Benavidez is going to get in there. Latin fighters have too much machismo, and he wants to just show that that he's too tough. That would be the mistake. But I still would pick Benavidez to win that fight.
Yeah, this is like if he talked about the low output and the high output compared to Benavidez. This is like if Gervonta Davis went up to 147 and fought Errol Spence, or 154 and fought Errol Spence, or something like that. Because that's how big of the size difference and the weight
He's
difference is.
naturally, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so when people say it's a fair matchup, it's really not a fair matchup at all. Benavidez is weighing 200 pounds, while Canelo's right there, probably around 175 or something on fight night. Blueprint, what do you think, man?
You don't learn.
It's a tough question, man. I think Canelo could win if David Benavidez comes over aggressing because he really wants this fight. He's pushing it. He's trying to promote it as best as he can. If he comes in aggressive, dude, Canelo's gonna counter him. He's not. Canelo likes to bait people in too, like take shots and stuff like that. To get them to come in so he can do a counter uppercut or a hook. And I just feel like Canelo's gonna have him on a rehydration clause too. So how is David gonna move being at a set weight on fight night, instead of filling out and rehydrating it to what he usually does?
Yeah, and that's funny
Because
because
that's gonna cause effect on him too.
David has said he'll accept that. David has confirmed in multiple interviews
No, he
that
would.
he's
I know he
willing
would.
to. So
He'll do anything.
David's got some fucking balls, man. He's got balls. I mean, I would love to see him fight the winner of Bivol and Beterbiev first, because I still don't think he'll lose that Canelo fight with a loss to them because it's even field if he loses to one of them because Canelo already lost to Bivol. But now if he fucking beats Bivol or Beterbiev, that just gives him more authority in negotiations.
Yeah, it's not so much A side. It's not so much A side anymore. But Koopa, who you got, man?
All right, real quick, because I'm going to piggyback off of Johnny Boy here. Listen, if David Benavidez boxes to a decision, I think he wins off of volume. I think if he goes in there trying to knock out Canelo and make a statement, he's going to get caught. Canelo's a superb counter puncher. And I just think if he just comes forward, he's just going to keep getting caught and Canelo's just going to have his way with him. Especially being like, a veteran fighter who's been a counter puncher ever since I was in fucking like middle school. I mean, it's just going to end badly for him. But I think he has a chance. The issue is the weight that you brought up. Canelo said numerous times that the only thing he brings to the table is an extra 25 pounds or whatever amount of like weight my man said. So that to me says he doesn't want to fight him. If David Benavidez says he wants to do the rehydration clause, that's cool. But if I'm a Canelo, I'm like, okay, well, normally fighters aren't too ballsy to accept the rehydration clause, but David Benavidez is, and that might make him kind of like, reconsider.
Okay. No, I feel you. We'll see what happens. I mean, I think we might not even get the fight based off what Canelo's been saying. But Robert, real quick, who you got, man?
I think it's one of those things to where like Benavidez versus Canelo. Benavidez, you can't fight a boxer. You got to box a boxer. But do you outbox one of the greatest boxers of all time? Tag team, but you also could stand in there. Yeah, he could outbox you, but if his punches ain't doing nothing to you and your punches are making the most impact on judge card, and not to mention if Dave Moretti scoring the fight, you know.
Already, he's a problem.
Yeah, Dave Moretti. If Dave Moretti on the scorecard, ain't no telling who win the fight, whatever's going on. But it's like one of those to where like in my head I see something, on paper I see something, but I just feel like reality is gonna be something different. And I feel like
see reality, a lot of the questions tonight have been like toss ups, so it's more just about like the boxers' approaches. It's not necessarily about like just what we think, because we could think some shit and it could end up totally different just based off of how they approach the fight.
It's one of those where we have to see them fighting in the ring. I feel like I just hope Benavidez could do it. You know what I'm saying? I think he can do it, but I just feel like he got to go in there and he can't give. We always hear this. He can't give Canelo too much respect on his boxing skill. And if Canelo come in there and pull some shit out of his head to where he got the best head movement that he done had in forever, then there's nothing Benavidez could do with Canelo if Canelo come in there boxing like Loma just fought Kambosos.
Yeah, he's not gonna fight like
he's
that.
Gonna have to keep his hands
not
up
gonna
too,
fight
because
like
Canelo
that.
just think he could fucking just use no hands and he be getting fucking popped.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but I think
Benavidez got everything in his repertoire. He just got to put it together. He can't just go out in there and just try to, just throw. He got to go in there and box. We know he could do it. He just got to put it all together. Like when you fight Canelo, that's something you have to do to win. You got to go find the B-ball blueprint and then add what he can to it. I think he can when he wants to. He just don't because there's nobody who
Did you
can
not
go
see? Did you not see the
I don't
rematch
think-
against Gavril,
bro. I don't think he can go on the back foot. But
Did you not see the rematch against Gavril?
Bro,
The nigga who knocked him down.
yeah. What tier level fighter do you think that guy is?
Does it matter? He knocked
Like
him
a
down.
like
He
a
came
D,
back and he
like
beat
a
his
D
ass.
or an F? You're comparing that to Canelo Alvarez, bro.
I'm not comparing
Alright.
that to anything. I'm saying you said you don't think he can box, and I'm giving you a fight where he's boxed.
Bro, I don't think he can box with Canelo Alvarez.
Bro, Canelo Alvarez just arguably.
I don't think he can
got
box. He's
outboxed
gonna
by
be on
Jaime Munguia. Jaime Munguia's best fight
Bro,
is
no,
a
he-
37-year-old Ukrainian.
He did not get outboxed by Jaime Munguia. Jaime Munguia won the first 3-4 rounds.
he was
He
looking
won the
good.
first 3-4 rounds.
This shit is debatable.
He was looking
He had
good,
his
bro.
head fucking popping back like a bobblehead, nigga.
Bro, yeah, because he likes to stand on the ropes and put his hands up, like I told you, and just try to take punches for some reason.
Canelo one of those.
You don't want to do that with David.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't do that with David Benavidez. He throws 20 punch rapid fire combinations. You do not want to lay on the ropes.
Bro,
I'll tell you something.
Pacquiao type combinations.
I'll tell you something before we move on. Before we move on to our last segment,
behind every punch. 20
we're gonna
punch power
skip-
combination.
You done?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, we're gonna.
Real quick, I'll tell you. All right, go ahead, Frank.
Rob, God damn.
You talk so much, bro. You're like Tank right now.
Yeah,
what I was gonna say is we're gonna if Canelo beats Benavidez, now we're talking about Canelo being in that elite all-time status. That's the only last thing I wanted to say. You're talking about top 10 of top 20 of all time, maybe.
Is he not already?
I don't know. We'll talk about that later, though. We got to move on.
No, because he
bro. What I just say, Robert? Robert, what I just say?
Real quick, Frank. Hey, real quick.
Hey, Errol, nigga,
Bro, you've been doing this all night. You just talk. Bro, chill out.
Real quick, Benavidez is at that point to where like he in the middle of a change of the guard, so everybody else is aging out. Everybody else is aging out. You get what I'm saying? So it's like he got to wait for fights, and there's nobody else he can fight right now. That's a big fight. He literally in the middle of a change of a guard.
Awesome, bro.
All right, bro.
All
It's
right.
about to be Johnny Boy's day time, bro. It's about to get dark over there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm in the car, man. I'm in the car.
We really seen the whole sunset. We seen the whole sunset.
That nigga said
beautiful.
All right, well let's do the little game we're doing, okay? So Shakur and Tank, we gotta pick who's better at each skill of these. I'm not gonna go one by one. Anybody just say whatever y'all think. First one to talk talks. So power.
Tank.
We can all agree it's Tank. We don't gotta take a lot of time on that one.
Shakur.
Defense.
Shakur.
Anybody think Tank? I mean, Tank isn't as good, obviously, but he's kind of
next segment, nigga.
Edging up, bro. He's kind of edging up, bro. All right, jab.
Shakur.
Tank has no jab. So
yeah, because Tank ain't
disagree.
throwing that. Tank only throw meaningful punches. Tank throwing no random jab.
All right, chill out, Keizo. Defense. I mean, distance.
Shakur,
bro. Shakur.
But Tank has a pretty good range of distance.
Bro, he's short. He got T-Rex arms, bro. Shakur.
Stop screaming.
Because he lets fighters think that they can jump on him.
Majority rules, nigga.
Exactly.
Okay, this one's good.
I agree with Roy.
That's Tank.
I think it's
That's
a draw.
Yeah, easily Tank.
Tank?
That's Tank.
Tank.
Tank times a million.
I think Tank can be faster if he wants to.
Yeah, I think Tank got really fast.
He's very
Shakur. I would say Shakur.
No, bro, that's
Shakur is fast, man. But yeah, I think they don't show his speed that much. Like,
all right, so right now we're tied up, boys. 3-3.
Shakur.
Footwork.
Shakur.
This one's tough.
Shakur.
Shakur.
I know you got to say that he backs up, though.
Shakur.
Yeah, he usually
Shakur do a lot of head movement recently, though. So
head movement. No, you could say Shakur because Tank not moving if you feel he could take your punches. He ain't even moving his head.
Oh,
he let you. He was all bruised up. Yeah, he was all bruised up.
So Shakur?
I guess that's.
Yeah.
Bruised up an understatement. He had a big ass pink mark.
I'm gonna add another one.
Yeah.
We know who that is.
Ooh.
Do I gotta say his name? Yes.
This one's really close.
This one's really close.
No, it's only really close because of the Pitbull fight. Be for real. It's only really close because of the Pitbull fight.
Bro, the thing is this. Everything that we have Shakur for so far, the answer is Shakur. But the one that hurts the most would be Tank.
I would go Tank on this one.
Literally everything we have Shakur for.
Definitely not.
So Shakur? All right, let's do the vote. Raise your hand if you think Shakur.
For counters?
Shakur.
Yeah. 1, 2.
Counters? No, wait.
I don't see calling.
No, counter goes to Tank. The timing, he has the best timing in boxing.
Yeah, everybody except for Keizo and then Kuba at the end. So back foot.
I feel like you guys are looking at specific.
Shakur.
Tank be fighting off the back foot too, though.
Shut up, Franklin.
He do. Against Pitbull, we fought the whole fight on the back foot.
Keizo, why are you so angry, bro?
Because Franklin bro.
Raging hormones over there.
Your parents must be like, what the fuck is wrong with this kid, bro? But front foot on the attack.
Shakur.
Definitely
Tank,
bro.
Hey Franklin, stop playing.
Nah, it's definitely Tank.
Hey, Franklin,
It's definitely
It's Tank. Whenever Tank comes
Tank. Yeah, I'll go with Tank.
Bro, we just saw him destroy somebody on the front foot like Shakur.
Yeah, Tank. Yeah, Tank.
I feel like you guys are thinking about like knockouts.
Hey Frank,
like,
one of these days, one of these days, I'm gonna come to your house and I'm gonna use one of them things that keep your eyes open, and we gonna watch the Shakur fight marathon.
No, but
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4.
But I think you guys are thinking situational, not overall.
Frank, it's one of those things that like it's one of those things when you look at it like this on paper, you have Shakur, but when you put it together, if you put a back foot and counter together, who is that? Tank.
Shakur,
right? A back foot on the back foot and a counter. Because Tank on the back
because he'd be
foot.
knocking dudes out, man.
Okay, so we
All
just
right.
talked about this. When Tank is on the back foot, he's sniping. When Tank is on the back foot, straight sniping.
When
One
Tank
hit a
is
quarter
on the
when he
back
on the back
foot,
foot.
he's either fighting a 5'9" giant or a 5'3" midget.
This man.
So let's
said
vote.
5'9".
Let's vote. Yo, chill out. Let's vote. Raise
No,
your
hey,
hand.
It's one
if
of those.
Shakur-
This a
Raise your hand if
fight. I love to see.
Robert. When I talk,
He sleep.
try to not talk right after.
All right, colonizer.
All right. Raise your hand if you think Tank wins. Raise your hand if you think Tank wins in a fight against Shakur.
I think Tank wins. Franklin Columbus.
Nigga, you
Count
only
five.
raising your hand because that's your massive.
You know, and
That's
this
four.
weekend-
That's
this
4 against
weekend
3.
really-
That's 4 against
listen,
3. Overall vote
and
was
this
Tank.
This weekend changed that for me too. 'Cause I always pick Shakur, and I still want to pick
It's
Shakur.
July
but
6th almost
it's not
here.
all that,
July
man.
6th
Listen to
almost
keep
here.
on the talk at the same time. Fuck.
Hey, keep this
I wanna-
same energy.
Whatever.
Yeah.
July 6th, I mean,
This same energy out.
Bro.
I'll be there. I'll be there
Rizzo.
July 6th covering the fight for Fight Hype too.
Oh, you
And
will? Nice.
still,
Nice, Johnny. That's dope.
WBC lightweight
Everybody,
champion.
round of a hand for
Hey,
hold
real
on,
quick,
hold
shout
on,
out Johnny
I
Boy
got-
Boxing. Shout out
Yo,
Johnny Boy Boxing.
Yeah, shout out Johnny Boy Boxing, guys. Shout out to my new
Thank you
my
guys.
new news. If anybody wants to go, shout out right now. My new newsletter, frankgarciaboxing.substack.com. I just started it today. You can get a promotion for what is it, $2 a month or $12 for the whole year on it to get the daily news that I report. Anyways, I was just about to say something about Shakur.
Hey, real
What was
quick,
I gonna
Frank.
say?
Shout
Oh
out
yeah,
Blueprint
if y'all.
Boxing Team.
Oh yeah, shout out Blueprint Boxing Team as well. If y'all wanna talk about Shakur Tank, now's the time to talk it. Everybody got the shit off their chest?
Nah,
I want to give you. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Johnny Boy.
I just want to give you a fun fact. Shakur's father, his real father is Puerto Rican. His name was Alfredo Rivera. He passed away in 2019. That's my first cousin. So Shakur Stevenson is my cousin. I met him at the fight. If you check out my Instagram page, you'll see me pinned with him at the funeral in Manhattan. So I'm not saying I have this great relationship with him, but I'm going to try to build it when I go to the fight here and try to get those those personal interviews. Help me build my channel and work with him. You know what I mean? I would love to come into the ring with him and stuff like that. So I'm biased. I'm going to be going for Shakur no matter what, what the
Hey,
stats
Johnny,
was.
you want to
So,
switch lives?
huh?
You want to switch lives?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I couldn't believe it that he was my cousin. I was like, yo, I'm the biggest boxing fan. And I thought my family was messing with me. They told me, oh, listen, Shakur's your cousin. I said, yeah, right. When he showed up at the funeral, I was like starstruck. I was like, oh, Shakur. I was like, yo, it's crazy. So, I'm excited. I'm rooting for, I'm pulling for him to be the best, and win everything.
That's the next Floyd Mayweather right there, man. So you got a Floyd Mayweather.
Last man standing. Last man standing.
Hey Johnny, I think that's one of those things to where, like, when you finally do interview him, and then you tell him how much y'all related, I think y'all rapport gonna be built crazy.
I hope, because I need to. Like the way Cosell was with Muhammad Ali. That was the #1 interview. He always got the interviews with him. I'm trying to get those interviews with him, and just keep following his career.
That's awesome, man. That's
Tell him follow me back on Instagram.
Huh?
Tell him follow me back on Instagram.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Hey, if you ever get the chance, I don't know if it happened already, but can you tell Devin Handy unblock his son?
Bro, look, Johnny, we gonna get into that story another time, bro. I know it's bad time, bro. It's about to be pitch black over there in a second, bro.
yeah, definitely.
Here, and what we'll do is we can just end it here, and we'll talk about Subriel Matias and Liam Paro in the next episode. It's not that big of a deal. It's pretty late. We've been running for an hour. So thank y'all boys for coming on again. Hope you guys have a great night. Boxing Chat, thanks for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe and like, and check out all our channels, man. See you guys next week.
Salute, fellas.
Check out our channel. Check out our